It's 7:50 at Oklahoma's Talk Radio, Freedom 96.9. Welcome back to Freedom's First News. I'm your host, Jason Doyle, and joining us on the hotline is the Executive Director of the Oklahoma Families for Affordable Health, Julie McKone. Good morning, Julie. How are you?
Good morning, Jason. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm getting along for Friday, that's for sure. And even if Friday the 13th, I feel lucky today because it's Friday.
Oh, I forgot it was Friday the 13th.
Now,
Yikes.
Did you forget it was also Valentine's Day tomorrow?
I did not forget that. I've got my heart's on right now. I'm ready.
All right. Fantastic. Well, your organization, Oklahoma Families for Affordable Health Care, recently commissioned a survey of Oklahomans concerning health care. So let's talk a little bit about the findings. What did your survey find about how many Oklahomans are actually struggling to be able to afford health care right now?
Well, the results make it very clear Oklahomans are experiencing a healthcare cost crisis, and it's getting worse. So 67% of respondents said that the healthcare system is unaffordable, and 92% report that costs are continuing to rise. Three-quarters worry they will not be able to afford care in the future. So it's a pretty stark number.
Yeah, it feels like we're feeling a little bit of pressure. That 92% number, I'm surprised it's not 100% with some of the experiences I've had recently with the healthcare system.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you.
So does that indicate how widespread the issue is of people skipping or delaying care because of the cost?
Yes, definitely. So I think when healthcare costs get too high, people put off care. So their survey actually showed us that nearly 7 in 10 Oklahomans, they told us that they or a family member skipped treatment because of cost. And, we know when people skip treatments, that can lead to bigger health problems down the road. So really, that's why we believe that every time lawmakers consider a health care bill, the key question should really be simple. Does it raise costs or lower them?
And so with the survey, did you guys talk to respondents about where they believe that some of these higher costs are coming from in healthcare?
We did, and more than 80% of Oklahomans want lawmakers to disclose how proposed health care mandates would affect consumer costs before they pass legislation. Because I think that our survey results show that they do think these laws are being created and they are unexpectedly raising health care costs.
So we're speaking with Julie McKone. She's the executive director of Oklahoma Families for Affordable Health Care. They recently commissioned a survey of Oklahomans to discuss health care issues they're facing. And it seems like rising costs, that's the number one issue that we're all facing right now together when it comes to that. So when you ask Oklahomans about their future affordability, because some of them said, we don't know if we're going to be able to afford this, what did they tell you about their level of concern? Is this something that's like just kind of that whole little thing that's just a bug in the back of their mind, or is this something where I got to take out another mortgage to be able to afford what we got to get through?
No, I definitely think, it is a huge issue for people. 39% said healthcare costs forced them to drain their savings. Or delay other expenses, take on credit card debt, things like that. And 90% support government action, to limit high drug prices. I think drug prices are a major cost consideration for people. And 91% support broader efforts to rein in healthcare costs. So we had some pretty high statistics on how this is really affecting people. And I think, the message from consumers is pretty clear. Affordability matters more than expansion without cost controls. They're not in favor of expanding health care mandates if we don't have a way to pay for those.
I see. And it's interesting because we here we kind of follow different things here, both in Oklahoma in the legislature, and U.S. Senator James Lankford in Congress have championed reforms of the pharmacy benefit manager system and trying to get those at lower cost. I've seen different legislation both on the federal and the state level trying to get those drug prices down or those costs and stuff like that. So that just kind of translates in the meantime while they're working. What kind of things are Oklahomans having to trade off when it comes to having to pay for health care? What kind of things are they going to shorting themselves outside of that realm?
I think they are, like I said, they're going into credit card debt. They're putting off care. They are delaying care. They are rationing pills and medication. Um, so, those are very concerning things that are going to lead to worse health care problems for these people down the line.
And so, in the survey, did it ask about what the respondents would like to see as far as policy solutions and proposals and things like that to get maybe our legislature working or our Congress folks working? Is there policy solutions? I guess is what I'm asking for. Did the folks kind of come up with their own ideas of how to solve this?
Yeah, there's actually a proposal out right now that it's called House Bill 1161, and it just passed the House. It now needs to pass the Senate, but it really fits with what Oklahomans said they're looking for. So like I said earlier, more than 80% want lawmakers to disclose when they propose a health care mandate, how that's going to affect costs before passing the legislation. That's a pretty high number, 80%. And so, Oklahoma Families, for affordable health care, we support House Bill 1161. And all that does is it doesn't prevent new mandates from happening, doesn't prevent new laws. It just establishes a process for the Oklahoma Insurance Department to analyze and estimate the costs of proposed health care mandates before they become law. Like I said earlier, our lawmakers should be asking themselves, does this legislation increase or decrease health care costs? That's a pretty common sense question we should be asking, right?
Yeah.
And right now, they have no reliable way of knowing the answer to that. So that has just created a raft of unfunded mandates, and they're driving up costs for consumers. And our survey showed us people don't want, while they want protections, they don't want those when they come at a high cost that no one has any idea what that's going to be. So their affordability is the key component for people.
So that's Executive Director Julie McKone. Tell me, Julie, as we've got about a minute left, tell me a little bit about your organization, Oklahoma Families for Affordable Health Care.
So Oklahoma Families for Affordable Health Care is a nonpartisan voice for families and businesses around issues impacting the cost of health care. So we advocate for policies that reduce costs and save lives by increasing access to affordable health care in Oklahoma.
And is there a website or a place folks can go to find out more information?
Yes, we are at www.OKFAHC.com, and we've got lots of information and take action pages. We'd love everyone to come visit our website.
All right. Well, that's Executive Director Julie McKone of the Oklahoma Families for Affordable Health Care. Julie, really appreciate you coming on the show and talking a little bit about this survey and kind of, I guess, giving some encouragement to our lawmakers that, hey, Oklahomans are backing efforts to kind of limit these costs and try to get health care costs down and more affordable.
Absolutely. I think we could all benefit from that. Jason, I appreciate you having me on this morning.
I appreciate you being here. I hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day and a great weekend and try to stay dry this weekend.
Same to you. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Once again, Executive Director Julie McKone of Oklahoma Families for Affordable Health Care.